Toyota Avensis of the second generation, 2003-2009 years of release. Good day. If you are wondering is it worth buying a second generation Toyota Avensis and what problems you may encounter during operation, then you're at the right place. So there are no complaints about the build quality provided there is a trouble-free past. This is also true for the corrosion resistance of the body, but the owners of Avensis regularly complain about the white coating on the door frames, and often this kind of claim was expressed even by owners of practically new cars. There are enough claims to the dimming headlight caps. The latter problem, however, is typical for almost all modern cars. On the other hand, the Avensis boasts a sturdy paint job that an older Camry sedan can only dream of. The Avensis Salon no longer seems modern. Its age is given by the head unit, which can play not only discs but also cassettes. It will not be difficult to change the radio tape recorder, but it's hardly worth interfering with Toyota electronics, which turned out to be very reliable, without urgent need. One of the few problems that arise with age is the wear of the contact group in the steering column. Because of this, the buttons located on the steering wheel refuse to work. Less serious problems include abrasion-prone seat upholstery. So, in the case of the second generation Avensis, worn-out seats are not a clear sign of huge mileage. The Avensis didn't pass by the cracks of the interior plastic. Extraneous sounds are especially noticeable against the background of sound insulation, which is not bad for D-Class cars. By the way, on Avensis released after the 2006 update, the noise isolation will be slightly better, thanks to the additional soundproofing mats and new door seals. A more serious problem is a weak AC compressor. While the Avensis was under warranty, the official dealers had to replace the compressors with enviable regularity. It's believed that the Japanese were never able to make this note more reliable. Examining the instance you like, the performance of the air conditioner should definitely be assessed. When examining the engine compartment, you should pay attention to the condition of the side radiator tank. It's made of plastic and will crack over time. It's impossible to repair it, in which case you will have to buy a new radiator assembly. Unfortunately, there are enough questions about the power units installed on the Avensis. The motors of the 1ZZ series were not very reliable. The most problematic is the 1.8-liter engine. Toyota engineers planted the oil scraper rings very tightly, which is why they quickly lose their mobility. Often this happened after a run of 50,000 kilometers. As soon as the rings begin to lie, the oil consumption for waste increases many times over a short period. There are cases when a 1.8-liter engine consumed several liters of lubricant per 1,000 kilometers traveled. Naturally, it's impossible to operate a car with such a huge appetite for oil. It's worse if the critically low oil level cannot be noticed in time. The aluminum block is officially considered non-repairable, so it's best to start looking for a contract engine right away. To solve the problem with engines 1ZZ, Toyota were able to only in 2005. Upgraded motors do not cause problems, but it's important to understand that both new and old motors can be installed on the 2005-2006 Avensis. The easiest way to identify the modified engine is by the oil dipstick. It should have a clearly visible green mark. It's a pity, but you won't have to come down on this either. When expecting a 1.8-liter engine, be sure to make sure that there are no traces of antifreeze on the cylinder block wall, which is closer to the engine shield. If there are any, then the joint between the head and the cylinder block has ceased to be sealed from overheating. The company service will offer a complete replacement of the motor, but the masters of the club workshops will easily undertake the restoration of threaded connections for new head bolts. Given the problems with the 1.8-liter engine, it's no surprise that buyers prefer the 2-liter Avensis. The atmospheric unit of the 1AZ series is considered not to be killed. One has to keep an eye out only with direct fuel injection, which doesn't digest low-quality gasoline. Several fillings with a surrogate are enough for expensive high-pressure fuel pumps and nozzles to fail. If you fill up with exclusively high-quality fuel, then the high-pressure pump will withstand 200,000 kilometers without problems. In the event of overheating, the threads for mounting the cylinder head will not withstand even on a 2-liter engine. However, after 2007, this power unit received a modified unit which solved the problem. At the same time, the engineers did nothing with the delicate rear crankshaft oil seal. For the rest, there are no complaints. A mileage of 300,000 kilometers for a 2-liter engine is far from the limit. Instead, the Toyota motor will require maintenance every 10,000 km and manual valve adjustment every 150,000 km. The top unit for the Avensis model was a 2.4-liter engine. This power unit also turned out to be picky about the quality of the fuel as well as the quality and timing of oil changes. Those who want to save money on oil service will very soon have to fork out for a new VVTi system coupling. Uneven operation and knocking on an unheated engine will tell you about the need to replace it soon. Problems with starting the engine are not excluded. A crankcase ventilation system that quickly builds up deposits is a common problem in the Toyota Avensis. As soon as the ventilation system stops performing its functions, the engine starts to sweat with oil. A 1.6-liter turbo diesel engine is considered exotic in our market. There is no point in contacting it. Modern diesel engines are very demanding on fuel quality and their fuel system parts are very expensive. In the future, fuel savings will be completely cancelled out by expensive repairs. Toyota recommends oil service for a 5-speed manual transmission every 40,000 kilometers. However, this advice was neglected by almost all Avensis owners. A problem that manifests itself with age is sour drive cables. Difficult and indistinct switching of the mechanic's lever will prompt about the need to replace the drive. Frequent oil changes every 30-40,000 kilometers are also required for the automatic transmission Avensis. In this case, its resource will be at least 250,000 kilometers. Moreover, there are many known cases when the machine on the Avensis served all 500,000 kilometers. The fact that the box will need an early repair will be prompted not by jolts and jerks when switching, but by the oil that quickly darkens after changing. Motorists make legends about the reliability of Toyota's suspensions. The Avensis suspension endures all the hardships of our roads, and spare parts for it are inexpensive. Even the bushings and anti-roll bars on the Avensis often last more than 50,000 kilometers. Most often, a serious bulkhead suspension is required only after a mileage of 120-140,000 kilometers. A little criticism is possible except that the rear suspension on the pre-styling Avensis. It can start to rumble due to unsuccessful silent blocks of levers. However, given the age of this model, the previous owners have probably installed the parts of the new model long ago. By the way, the rear suspension on a Japanese car is considered a thruster. Because of this, the Avensis didn't go more recklessly, but the suspension design became more complicated. For example, there are transverse throats and ball joints not only in the front but also in the back. Surprisingly, the steering mechanism did not in the least degrade the reliability of the rear suspension. The only thing left for owners is to monitor the mobility of the hinges. Otherwise, during the repair, the sour parts will have to be cut down. On cars with a 1.8-liter engine in the steering gear, the weak point is the steering shaft. The backlash of the spline joints is the cause of the knocking coming from under the hood. However, everything is limited to rattling when passing irregularities. If there is no desire to listen to extraneous sounds, you can turn to specialized craftsmen who can defeat bounce. On versions with classic power steering, it will not be possible to cope with the rail leakage as quickly and cheaply. Only after the restyling of the Avensis did this problem begin to manifest itself less frequently. Regularly greasing the front caliper rails is a must for those Avensis owners who want to get rid of the clatter of the braces. Otherwise, there are no complaints about the brake system. Toyota Avensis with a confirmed mileage of 200-150,000 kilometers can be recommended for purchase. Such specimens are able to travel for a long time without serious investments. Better yet if you can find an Avensis from the first or second owner. In fact, it's not so difficult because our motorists prefer not to part with Toyota cars as long as possible. On the other hand, the notorious Toyota reliability allows you to practically not monitor the condition of the car for a very long time. If you come across such a specimen, then the Avensis can be seriously disappointing, and then the next car for the disappointed owner will probably be the new Renault Logan or Lada Vesta, which can be bought for almost the same money. If you are the owner, then be sure to leave a comment about this car. Your review will definitely help others with the choice of a car.